Alright everybody, game number 1 of the day is starting up. We have the winner bracket final. Navi is going up against TeamLiquid, and both of these teams have already shown us incredible play. We're currently in patch 16.2, meaning that Li Ming was already nerfed. She is allowed. Stitches, on the other hand, is banned out because he still has that bug on his hook that can cause lag in custom games. So we won't see Stitches today. He's not coming out to play, but we could see Li Ming. Yesterday she was allowed as well. She was picked a couple of times, but not really with a lot of success yet. So teams started also to ignore her a little bit more during the bans and also during the pick phase. It's a bit of personal preference at this point, but she needs more of a setup now that she lost S of Johan as a level 4 talent. Of course, her numbers got tweaked quite a bit. We have for TeamLiquid a ban on Thrall right away against Navi, and Navi is one of those teams that is really very strong when it comes to like new hero compositions and just showcasing like new play. If you remember Prague, for example, last year when we had the regional finals for the Blizzard Championship there, then they came up with that Fawcett and Butcher combination, which was incredibly powerful. And there's already like catering a little bit to that Li Ming nerf. Banning out Rhaegar, at least thinking about it, and not touching Li Ming yet. Rhaegar, of course, is one of the most contested picks currently, and also like bans, therefore, since we, in this case, have Rhaegar with incredible healing power, also a lot of siege damage, and also hero damage after his level 16 talent. And Navi, they want to get rid of Rhaegar. Now the question, of course, do TeamLiquid really rely on Li Ming, yes or no? With Li Ming, you oftentimes need now a bit of a stun lock. Like, the tougher the stun lock against the opponent is, the more damage Li Ming is going to be able to just bring to the table. We've seen a bit of a shift in her build as well. Yesterday, the missile build has actually been a bit dominant, and we've seen similar styles in Korea being used now as well, with Glass Cannon on level 13. But first of all, TeamLiquid going for the Jaina here. So preferring Jaina's mage style against the rebellious wizard that Navi has now still access to. But Jaina, of course, got buffed previously, and therefore she's incredibly powerful here. Falstad hasn't been banned out yet nor picked, and we all know how strong Falstad can actually be on Cursed Hollow, so that's another potential pick here for both Navi and TeamLiquid at this point. For like TeamLiquid was actually thinking about a ban on Falstad, but now Navi, Falstad, Zagara, great picks in the early game for them. They start with that Zagara here, but they still leave that last slot open, so they could go into a Falstad. We could see also Li Ming if they really feel that she is still strong enough after the nerfs that Blizzard used here. And of course, we've also seen Navi focus quite a bit on their tank line in the past. They start to play a lot more Johanna than most of the other teams. Johanna is currently one of their preferred tanks, actually, and they are very, very good with that. But we have them now, first of all, with that Muradin here, and that could actually already cater towards a bit of a Li Ming composition, and it takes Muradin away from TeamLiquid. That's important because TeamLiquid already showed Jaina, and Jaina is usually a hero that relies heavily on burst, and for that to completely come into play, you need also a bit of a setup. You want someone to lock a target down so that Jaina can get her damage in, and that's why Navi made that choice to get that early Muradin here, because they say, hey, Muradin, he's still extremely powerful. You can play him with Haymaker now in a double warrior composition, which we occasionally already saw on the European server, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they don't get that Jaina plus Muradin combo. They can like then use an ETC, a Tyrande, like so many other heroes to really just like lock that target down even further and allow Jaina to dish out damage point after damage point. So in this case, actually Navi deciding to pick that hero away. And TeamLiquid deciding to play with the Sonya here immediately. So Sonya, after Thrall was banned out, filling that role of a melee assassin, a little bit of a bruiser at the front line. Classified a bit differently by Blizzard, but still one of their strengths for sure. TeamLiquid doesn't really have to go into a second tank right now. They could, but they don't have to. Like, there's of course the potential of Navi to ban a few of the heroes out, but TeamLiquid, they have the chance to pick that later. They decide against it, though. They want to have something that combos well with Jaina, and they go for that ETC instead. That would have probably also been the ban on Navi if they wouldn't have taken it, and then TeamLiquid would have had to resort to something like a Johanna. They could have gone into a few other choices here, of course, as well, but that would have worked best. So ETC taken for them to really secure that combo potential that they want. We're having still a potential Diablo, of course, as well, depending on how they play it, but it's a little bit unlikely that we're going to see them go this melee heavy. In terms of supports, we have only seen a Rhaegar ban, so Tassadar is still out there, which can be played with a Sonya, for example. That would have been another great pick for TeamLiquid here, going for a Tassadar over the ETC, but they decided to prioritize the tank line in this case. And Navi could still think about a ban on Tassadar if they don't want to play him. So they have to think about their support right now. They have to really like make a choice. Do they want to play with a Tassadar, yes or no? They can of course go into that Charism, which is really popular here, but they really have to think about if they want a TeamLiquid to have Tassadar or not. Greymane, currently one of the heroes that they're trying to ban out here. Liquid has shown the hero quite some time. And there's the Greymane ban and a Chen ban immediately. We've seen a lot more Chen play actually recently. So Chen can be incredibly annoying now, especially after level 16, of course, with his pressure point, but even before that. And on Cursed Hollow, he can be a nuisance. You can always try to barrel heroes there as well, if you decide to go for the Wandering Keg. But right now, Team Liquid with the ban on Shen first of all. And let's see how Navi is going to react to that. Navi currently with Zagara Mirrodin. They need still... Yeah, there it is, the false start. We talked about it already a bit earlier. Great hero on the map. Very late in the draft, actually. False start incredibly late, especially if you consider that Team Liquid, when they banned Thrall, they were considering banning out Falstad. You could see them showing the hero there a couple of times. So in this case, a late pick on Falstad, but he still makes his appearance here. Mighty Gust, of course, absolutely incredible here. And an Uther. Uther, a hero that has been more or less neglected in the European scene for a long time. Monk is the preferred healer in that case. Uther with the Divine Shield allows Navi now to go into maybe a potential Kerrigan here on the end. They can like think about melee assassins in general. There could be an Illidan, of course, as well. With Illidan, we oftentimes now see Rhaegar and Tassadar combinations, which of course in this setup is not really possible anymore. But that Tassadar is still an option for Team Liquid. And Team Liquid is actually one of those teams that have run an Illidan before with Rhaegar Tassadar. Rhaegar Tassadar overall has become a very strong composition, with Rhaegar being banned out early already. Team Liquid is now in a situation where they have to think about that Tassadar, they have to think about Tyrande, and they have to think about Karazim as potential healers for their setup. And Karazim would definitely work well with ETC and Sonya here, but they could also decide that they want to play it with a Tassadar instead. So Karazim and Tassadar would be like two great choices for them right now. They still, and they switch between the two of them, but they side in favor of Tassadar, who can, with the Leeching Plasma, give Sonya, of course, some extra heals on her auto attacks, and especially Kala's Embrace is going to be an important talent for it. On the last pick, then, on the other hand, Team Liquid could theoretically go into Tyrande as well, if they feel that they have enough damage. It seems to be a little bit more likely that we're going to see them with a dedicated damage dealer on the other hand, then. The cool thing about a Tyrande would be that interrupt against channels on the Tribute, that can be really nice. But Team Liquid, whoa, they play it with an Abathur. They played Abathur already quite a bit, and especially when they run a setup with Illidan, we've seen the hero a lot, but they run that Jaina again. So they want to have the copy on the Jaina, and with Abathur you can actually go straight for Sonya support as well. And we all know how Chad is an amazing Abathur player. He played Abathur actually in the games, I think it was Fnatic, and they were able to win that with a 2-0. So Abathur here currently one of their strengths for sure, and Team Liquid is bringing the hero back into the meta. Currently one of the few teams that plays Abathur. Navi then again, what are they going to do to capitalize on that Uther Divine Shield? Probably. The synergy on their side is not really too strong yet. There's that Illidan. We've been talking about Illidan or Kerrigan as a potential last pick for them when they showed Uther, and it is Illidan that they decided to go for. No Kerrigan here for them. She's usually, when we see her mostly played on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, on Cursed Hollow, Illidan makes a bit more sense here, and Illidan with the Divine Shield can of course be quite disruptive, especially when Mirrodin jumps in with him at the same time. So very cool setup actually for both of these teams. Navi relying heavily on that Illidan Divine Shield with the damage from Falstad, Zagara for vision and map control, Mirrodin as the solo support, and Team Liquid a bit more focused on that double Jaina burst damage with an ETC that can always threaten a mosh pit, and having a Tassadar as the solo support to especially shield Sonya. So Sonya will have during fights the support of Abathur with the Symbiote and also Tassadar here. So yeah, we're already in for a treat. We're in for a great first game. So guys, let's jump in and find out which team is going to take the lead here at the winner bracket final at the end of the Storm Finals of Europe. Game number 1 at the winner bracket final at the Enter the Storm Finals. Team Liquid is going up against Navi, ladies and gentlemen, and we have on Cursed Hollow our first map in the best of 3 series. To the left side now, Lowell on Sonya. We are seeing Chris on Jaina, Juve on ETC, Gerd Amherd on Tassadar, and Shat is playing Abathur once again. The Slug is back. To the right side of the map, Navi on the other hand, one of the strongest teams in Europe for sure, with Crosby on Zagara, Alex the Frog on Mirrodin. We have Danatan, newest addition to the team, on Falstad, Eternal on Illidan, and Grand Paquete is playing the support. He's playing Uther. Danatan, as I already said, he's the newest addition to the team. Mene left the team when they originally weren't able to qualify for the Spring Championship. Later on, in one of the later qualifiers, Navi was able to make that jump, and they got their ticket. But then Mene, he decided to leave the team, and first of all, they played with Dikozoy, but he didn't really work out. Apparently, there was not enough synergy with the rest of the team, so Danatan is currently the stand-in here. He's the player that they plan on going to Katowice with as well for the Spring Championship finals, and therefore we have like a bit of a changed lineup. So hopefully for Navi that's all going to work out, hopefully for Danatan of course as well. Navi in this setup right now already with Crosby and Alex up at the top lane, so we have Zagara and Muradin. Muradin is probably going to rotate around a bit in the early game. It's more about protecting Zagara against potential ganks until she can set up the creep tumor so that she has enough vision to be safe, and Muradin is currently already lying in the bushes there. But that being said, we're having at the same time now, once again in terms of like builds, the shot of Fury taken for Lowell, who's busy at the bot lane. It's more or less a battle of the melee assassins with, well, Sonya going up against Illidan here. In terms of talents, we have the Envenomed Nest taken as the level 1 talent, so again the Toxic Nest focus here for Abathur. Shad is going to try to get those extra mines in then on level 4, and we're probably also going to see them with a slow later on in that talent build. They try to go for a turn. Oh, Illidan! Look at those moves, well done. Illidan making sure that ETC does not hit him with his power slide, and therefore is able to escape. Good job. Seasoned Marksman has now been taken by Falstad, of course. Auto attack build once again. No real surprises here when it comes to the build. The Lingering Chill, on the other hand, has been taken for Jaina, but up to the top lane, Crosby and Alex are starting to take towers down. So a lot in these fights for now, TeamLiquid is actually going to depend on the team fight after level 10. It's always a bit of a liability with an Abathur in the early game on Cursed Hollow, because the problem that you're facing is that you have one less body on the map, so it's very difficult for you to get early tributes, but you make up for it by trying to soak lanes with Abathur alone. So Abathur will try to body soak lanes when tributes are up and help the team out with the symbiote, and then it's all about trying to delay the tribute. I mean, if you see an opportunity to take the tribute, you're of course going to go for it, but still, as long as they can delay the tribute and Abathur is able to soak extra experience, it's all good for the team. And that's going to be one of the biggest challenges here in the early game. Later on, when you have the copy up, then the double Jaina is going to dish out incredible damage, and that's of course especially true if ETC is able to set up a mosh pit before that. So Abathur currently still in the middle. Up here at the top, the interrupts have started. Down to the bot lane, nobody soaking experience just yet. Everybody rotates top. Shad is still waiting here. And we're having up at the top lane still a 3 versus 2. And TeamLiquid with a chance to go for it. They're trying, they're delaying everything, but Danatan is flying in now as well. We have Juve going straight for him, and the bird has to move away for now. Once again, Abathur starting to move into the middle, actually. Starting to buddy soak the mid lane instead, and is now starting to go straight down to the bottom of the map. So exactly as expected, yeah, we have him soaking experience. Now they're trying to delay at top as much as they can. And in this case, we have the level 4 talent for both of these teams with the Arcane Intellect back on Jaina. Not going for the Snowstorm with the radius increase, but instead the mana management here. Alex interrupted, and the longer this fight lasts, the better for TeamLiquid. They are going to try to delay for as long as they can. They know that with only 4 bodies in play, it's very unlikely for them to actually get the tribute, but they might lose Gert here. He's trying to move away. The rest of the team is zoning quite nicely for him. Great job by them, but Lowell is down now. And that's, of course, a very unfortunate situation with Juve also falling. A double kill for Navi. At the bottom lane, Abathur is still soaking experience, but for Navi, that was a great start into the game here. Not only getting the tribute, but also now starting to fly down with Falstad. And Shad, he of course knows what he's up against. And with Danatan in play, he immediately moves back behind the gate. So a very great early game here, actually, for Navi. Able to keep that experience loss at a minimum. Overall, they're even ahead thanks to the 2 kills that they got early on. We're seeing for not only Zagara vision here on the map, Endless Creep has been taken as the talent, but at the same time also now the battle momentum. And battle momentum is actually like a pretty cool talent right now for Muradin. We've seen a lot of Muradin builds again go a bit more into the Stormbolt build overall, especially on maps like, let's say, Battlefield of Eternity. Going for the Sledgehammer on level 4, for example, can really help you hammering one of those Immortals down for the objective. But what's really cool about battle momentum is that Avatar, of course, was recently changed. You don't mini-stun anymore with your auto attacks on Avatar, but you have a lowered cooldown. And if you now use battle momentum as well during these fights, you can just basically activate your Avatar in every single fight that you have. It's just further going to reduce the cooldown on the heroic ability, and that's absolutely amazing for you. Not really too amazing for Gert, though. Tassadar, yeah, Protoss might be imba, but they're not that imbalanced. I'm really sorry about that. Eternal and Crosby are going in, so for once Zerg is able to win against the Protoss. Had a bit of help there, I suppose. So yeah, but still. They get Tassada down, and this is actually starting to get pretty dicey for TeamLiquid. Level 10 is of course really one of those talents when they start to unfold a lot of their strength because of the copy. They got the boss at the bot lane very early in the game. It's of course a bit of a weaker boss still, but they are going to lose at the top now a 4. So boss has been claimed, but a 4 has been eliminated, and it looks very much like that boss might not even be able to take down the 4 here. Danatan behind the gate is doing a solid job, just hammering it down. He's probably going to wait for someone to help him out. No, actually, they just go for a counter boss instead, and they still soak experience. Look at that experience lead that we currently see for Navi. Eternal in a bit of trouble here. He got locked down by the golem. That's why Alex has actually to move in to help out. And now at the bot lane, Danatan still doing his thing. TeamLiquid realized that nobody was rotating in, and there's only one reason for that. Boss attempt at the top, and they went straight for it. So Navi had to abandon it. Great move by TeamLiquid, actually. They realized what was up, and they immediately said, guys, we can interrupt that, we can go top and force them away, but now we have level 10 ready for Navi, and the fort at the bot lane has not been claimed. So after losing Tassada, TeamLiquid realized that they would lose the fort here, and they decided to just go for boss. They knew that they would probably not take down the fort at the bot lane, but they knew they would actually do a lot of damage. It was the best trade that they could hope for. Now they're going to be cursed most likely though, because with level 10 around, this should be a free curse for them. If Gerd moves in a bit too far for this one, he's going to fall to the rest of the setup that is already waiting for him. So a bit of a trap setup. Curse against TeamLiquid. They still don't have level 10. They need that heroic ability on especially Abathur. Again, Kala's embraced, plus the Leeching Plasma has been taken, and as expected, the prolific dispersal for the extra toxic nests and the vile nest as well. Now it's level 10s versus level 10s, and the teams are starting to jump in for the fight here. We're having Muradin hopping out, the curse is still strong, and that is what Zagara at the top lane is using to her advantage, and Falstad at the bottom of the map, trying of course to make sure that at least one of these forts is falling. Abathur, he has to be careful when he starts to jump into these fights now, of course. He needs to make sure that he gets that Jaina copy in for the burst damage. Eternal, Crosby and his boys, they still want to go for the boss. And that is basically, like, even with the vision that TeamLiquid has right now, this is basically forcing TeamLiquid to react. But Zagara is not allowed to die. Oh, Zagara dying now. And that was unfortunate. Shat going for the copy on ETC even. TeamLiquid. Now, that was actually like a really, really interesting situation here now. Navi knew, of course, thanks to the Abathur mines, that TeamLiquid knew where they were, but they said, hey, if they rotate to the top, they abandon lanes, they are cursed, they will lose structures. But then Zagara dies, and that was a big problem. Suddenly in a 4 versus 5 situation, TeamLiquid realized they could try to go for boss, they moved in, but they were a little bit too greedy here. So instead of getting the boss now, well, they could still get it, but they still have... Oh, the fail pit! Juve actually trying to go for the mosh pit here. Unfortunately, he doesn't hit anybody. Now comes Illidan with a Divine Shield, and Illidan is going straight in. The hatred of 10,000 years. Lowell pushed into a corner here, gets away, tries to go for Illidan once more, but falls in the end after all. And now this heavily contested boss at the top lane is being attacked once again. So a pretty cool game already, not only when we're looking at these fights, but also like the strategic decisions that are being made by the teams. Tassada dying top, TeamLiquid deciding to trade for boss at the bottom. TeamLiquid being cursed, trying to just like go for the boss regardless, getting the kill against Zagara, which Navi needed really to avoid. If they avoid that kill, then they're in a great position because they force TeamLiquid back while the curse is active, which will take structures down. But from that point of view, it's actually like a very cool situation that we see right now. So both of the teams, which is small moves here, that are supposed to give them slight advantages in the game. And by now, Navi moving through the middle. They have the boss at the top. The fort there is already gone, so the boss will go straight for keep, and TeamLiquid will have to react to that. And with that early level 13 that we are going to see for Navi very soon, they should be able to get some more damage in. Abathur at the bot lane right now. Shat was soaking another wave with his body. Abathur, of course, can either soak with his symbiote when it's on lane, or he can soak with his body. No Locust soak is really possible. The only way that you can actually soak experience with the Locust is if that Locust makes the killing shot against the minion. Then you get the experience, but that's very unlikely to happen. You'll never get an entire wave by that. So the only really safe ways to soak experience with Abathur are a symbiote on lane, or are actually to just use your body somewhere. And a good Abathur will always do that. That's why we are seeing Shat moving around the entire time. Level 13 now for both of the teams, and that is especially powerful for Illidan, who went now for the Sixth Sense once again, and that's a great talent for him to have. Also having now for Uther the Shrink Ray is going to be great against Lowell on his Sonya here. We're having Bombard Strain taken, so that's already showcasing that Abathur is not going for the massive support build with his Symbiote to try and support Sonya, but instead will head into the Locust Brood on 16 and try to go for more of a push build. So Abathur is going to be very active on the map once level 16 is being hit. But for now, we're seeing the teams, of course, straight to moving in for their tribute again. Face Smelt taken, no groupies this time. They rely on only Tassadar. Here comes the action once again. Force Wall is there. ETC jumps in, goes for the mosh pit, but is immediately gusted away. And now, even with a double Sonya, we're seeing Navi in a bit of a dominant position here. Sonya is moving in, 2 of them actually, but the copy is already down. Navi still trying to zone for the tribute. Eternal is going for the channel, and yes, they get it again. TeamLiquid hasn't won a single tribute in the entire game so far. It's still 4 kills against 2. Mid lane pressure, Danatan flew in to make sure that this fort would not be taken out by the minion waves that have been sent there by TeamLiquid. And at the same time, TL now, of course, they have to rotate again towards the lanes to make sure that they are not getting pressured too much by those waves, especially up at the top. TeamLiquid overall, they are now in a situation where they, of course, need to make sure that they are getting a few of those tributes. It's starting to really threaten them again. A second curse later on in the game would most likely be the downfall of at least one of these keeps. And currently, when we're looking at the damage output, Thorstead, by the way, with 21 season marksman stacks at this point, so his auto-attack damage is only increasing from here on out. We're having, in terms of overall hero damage, 19,000 now on Zagara and 20,000 on Abathur, who's doing a pretty solid job with all of that. Abathur and also Jaina, the only 2 heroes on the side of TeamLiquid that haven't died yet. The boss is up, by the way, once again, and Abathur immediately trying to secure that position with a lot of toxic nests. Navi with a move to the bot lane. And they might have overextended here maybe a little bit. Now the rest of the team for TeamLiquid is still in the middle, but Juve is already waiting. Let's see if they can rotate the rest of the team around. Experience-wise, Navi is actually only slightly ahead, and that's mostly thanks to Abathur, who's currently like all over the place. But this tribute would be tribute number 2 on the side of Navi. 15 for both of them, and with Abathur we have even the slight experience lead now for Navi. For TeamLiquid. TeamLiquid once again going in. Wrath of the Berserker already activated. Mosh is going to be up in another 2 seconds. That's going to be really important as well. Alex comes in, Juve is there too, and immediately the zoning attempt. Look where Abathur is, once again trying to just like push these lanes in. Doesn't have this level 16 talent yet, but still experiencing, like gaining experience, pushing the lanes in. We're having Stormbolt on Alex, not used just yet. Of course, they always know that there is the threat of another mosh pit. Danatan needs to wait with that gust, unless they can isolate somebody. Force Wall again, Gerd doesn't really hit anything with that. And still the zoning as Grumpaket is trying to channel the tribute in the back. Great play here actually from Navi, trying to force them back, but that level 16 talent is definitely a huge threat right now. And the longer Abathur is at the top, the sooner that level 16 is going to hit for TeamLiquid, and then they can get that advantage against Navi and win the tribute here. Again the attempt, always the interrupts. TeamLiquid is ready, and now Navi has to move back. Yeah, even Eternal is going straight for the Metamorphosis to jump away. There's the level 16 now. Great play by TeamLiquid, delaying this tribute long enough for Abathur to get all the experience that he needed for his team to get that level 16 talent. And now they have the Northern Exposure taken for Jaina. We're seeing also the Locust Brood for Abathur. And after the Prescience, the Dimensional Warp is giving Tassadar the additional safety that he really needs in these situations. Echo Paddle plus, no escape taken for Sonya, not going into his stone form. His stone skin version that we have there, the Nerves of Steel. So an interesting choice to go for no escape, so a little bit more movement speed during these fights as well. And level 16 talents are now also ready for Navi, which gives them Benediction. We have the Stone Skin for Illidan. We're seeing Stone Form for Muradin. Falstad after Giant Killer on level 13 is most likely going to go into Hammer Time once again. Yes, that's exactly what we're seeing here. So an additional mini stun for them. Bosses are still both up, and that's of course really the focus point for both of the teams right now. We have 1 tribute in each side. And it was the first tribute, by the way, that TeamLiquid was able to get here so far. But again, we have the tribute spawning at the top. Oh, Eternal starts to attack the boss here. Not quite sure that was the smartest move considering the position of the tribute here. So yep, they start to move in again. But now we have that level 16 for Abathur. And Abathur already using the Locust Boot down to the bottom of the map. Deep pushing the lane that was pressuring the most. In the mid lane we have at the same time a camp pushing against the fort. So TeamLiquid is starting to look stronger and stronger in this game. In the early game they had a lot of trouble, but right now they are coming back in full force. And that is catering to what we've talked about earlier. It is really that copy on Abathur that is helping them a lot. And we've seen copies on Sonya, we see copies on ETC. Shat is always adapting to the situation. It's not only that Fiat Jaina copy with the double burst damage that is really important for Navi to dodge, it's also that melee assassin frontline. Illidan bursted away, he went deep, but the Divine Shield lands on Muradin. A misclick here by Grand Paquete. Very uncharacteristic for the strong Spanish support player. Illidan jumping in deep for this one. Immediately the burst damage, and he did not get the Divine Shield out in time. Therefore they had to retreat. Navi able or willing to commit, but then all of a sudden losing their melee assassin, and that of course puts an end to the team fight immediately. Danatan in the mid lane with the experience soak again, and Abathur really starting to put the numbers out right now. I mean, if you take a closer look at the siege damage numbers, for example, he's at 66,000 here already, and now that he has his level 16 talent, of course, for quite some time already, this is only going to increase. Top lane pressure here. Here comes the copy. Double Tacita is the only hero that's up here. They're trying to go maybe for a delay. Juve is already on his way in. Boss is not taken yet. Here comes Juve. The Maw is trapping all of them. The boss is stolen. Boss at the bot lane also claimed they're going in. Here comes the triple mosh, but still the interrupt. Lowell is there now too. ETC is down. Lowell moving away. Eternal going in for the kill, and Illidan is not done just yet. Illidan, he wants Chris. Eternal is starting to move in. So is Alex. Both of them are on the move. Here comes Falstad flying in, and that ice block is not going to prevent the inevitable. Goodbye, Jaina. Jaina is down. Great kill by Navi once again. They can go even for the Siege Giant camp if they want to, but they are pushing in with the boss. It's 4 kills. Everybody falling. TeamLiquid, they got a bit too greedy. They wanted to go for their own boss, and they wanted to make sure that they also get access to the boss up at the top, delayed for as long as possible. The boss is pushing through the bot lane, might even drop the keep, but Navi is going for core right now. Navi wants to go for core. They want to finish the game. Here's the curse. The curse against Navi. It doesn't matter though. They go for core. They get that chance thanks to that mistake by TeamLiquid up at the top. They got a bit too greedy in this situation. They want to go for the defense. Danatan is so low, but it does not matter anymore. GG, well played, and Navi with the 1-0 lead against TeamLiquid here at the winner bracket final of the end of the Storm Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, Navi with an immediate ban on Greymane here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Of course, Greymane has great potential for siege damage, and that's one of the things that you usually try to rely upon on Tomb. We have TeamLiquid down 1 game in the series after they overstayed a bit at that boss fight at the top. They were too greedy, they were trying to get the boss at the bottom of the map, and at the same time trying to delay Navi's attempt to get the one up at the top, and it didn't really work out for them then in the end. So all of a sudden, Navi ahead, and Navi, they use the chance with their first pick to lock down Jaina. Rega is banned out again. Li Ming, once again, so far at least ignored. Keep that Zagara in the back of your head. That is incredibly powerful on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Oftentimes the same is true for Tacita. So these 2 heroes are probably going to make an appearance at some point or another during that draft. And I personally wouldn't really be surprised to see TeamLiquid lock the hero down, at least Zagara, immediately. It depends a bit on how they want to play this, though. I mean, there's the way that you can either like play with a lot of siege damage on the map. You can try to gain map control and snowball it with the objectives here. Tacita caters towards that need, or you can attempt to like dominate the rotation between the mid and the top lane, dominate team fights, and really force the opponents into battles and try to win the game with those means. For now, TeamLiquid with their Tacita already catering a little bit to a very flexible style. Tacita can serve as a solo support, but if you want to, for example, support a melee assassin at the front line, then you can also do that with adding a second support as well. Same is true if you are trying to play with only 1 tank. So TeamLiquid has to kind of make that choice how exactly they want to put Tacita to use. He would also be a very good tool against the Zagara. So if TeamLiquid decides against playing Zagara themselves, they at least have Tacita for vision thanks to the Oracle. So Zagara will have a bit of a tougher time to really get all of those creep tumors onto the ground and provide the map vision for the opponent and therefore also the map control. Navi would benefit from a Zagara with a Jaina that they already have. We've often seen like Morse into Ring of Frost, into Blizzard, into burst damage overall, and that's something that Navi can definitely do now. TeamLiquid with a Thrall here, so Thrall already taken, and there's that Zagara that we've been talking about. So as expected, Zagara making a very early appearance here, and as I just mentioned for Jaina, it's a great addition to have a Zagara on your setup. TeamLiquid with that Tassadar Thrall already going a little bit more into a potential burst. And Navi is actually switching that pick around a bit. In the last draft, I've already mentioned how much Navi prefers to play with the Johanna, and we see Johanna here again, especially on maps where siege damage is important. Johanna is incredibly good. One of the main reasons why Navi went into Muradin the last time was also because TeamLiquid already showed Jaina, so Navi wanted to make sure that that burst potential isn't there. Now that threat isn't really a problem, so Navi decides to go into that Johanna again that we've seen Alex play a lot. So it depends a bit on what other heroes they choose, or we will see Alex on Johanna. Navi can still go into that Zagara, of course. For them, it's actually like a really interesting start into the draft right now. They can either go into a Zagara, they could add also maybe even an early... I guess like if they want to pick something else, then going for a second warrior would also be quite nice. But in terms of damage, you have still so many options that I believe they are probably rather going to lock one of those down. You can play with a false stat here. On this map, for example, it also works with the Kelthas, but Navi takes the support. So they want to go for a Charism. And I mean, TeamLiquid, they can go into Tyrande as a second support if they want to. Charism would have been a good second support for them as well, with a lot of healing numbers. Theoretically, they can go even into an Uther, even though I feel that Uther plus Tassadar would be a bit overkill. I think that would be a bit too much there, especially since Uther is more of a utility support than anything else. Tassadar, for example, has kind of that role, but he has AoE damage that he can offer as well, and that's something that Uther just doesn't have. TeamLiquid, very consistent with those bans on Chen. They really dislike playing against the Chen, apparently. And Navi, they decide to ban Zagara out. As I said before, Zagara, one way or another, we were going to see her in that draft, and instead of picking her, Navi actually hovering over her for quite some time and then deciding to ban her out. Going up against the Zagara plus a Tassadar would of course be a disaster. So them not picking Zagara kind of forces their hand a bit with the ban here and forces them into a Zagara ban instead. It would be too much siege power and also too much map control, which is the more important part. You have vision with the creep tumors, you have vision thanks to Tassadar's Oracle, and that's something that you just can't risk. As I said before, Kelthas on this map is still very strong and can be used. The mage hero has disappeared a little bit. At least he has fallen off after Jaina got buffed, Kelthas got nerfed. But right now on this map you can still blow targets away, and that's something that TeamLiquid has to try and rely upon. There could be a Diablo or an ETC as one of the frontliners. With Thrall, ETC would make sense, a Diablo would make sense as well. With Thrall, oftentimes you try to just like burst the target down. You just like move in, you go for the Sundering, you try to like follow it up with a Mosh Pit, with an Apocalypse, depending on what your second frontliner is, and then you can get the damage in. But TeamLiquid going into Leoric with potential Entomb now. So they go for Leoric, they have the Entomb ready, they can try to Wraith Walk in, isolate someone like Jaina, and even get that Sundering in to, for example, split the rest of the team off and use Kelthas to get the damage in. In theory, that's actually a setup that you can run with a Pyroblast, which has been becoming a bit more popular, even though it has 100-second cooldowns right now. The damage has been increased so heavily in the latest Blizzard patch that you can, with Pyroblast, blow targets up. The problem with using Pyroblast against Jaina is that she has Icebox on level 13. So I guess it's still more likely that we're going to see that Phoenix here. Jaina with that level 13 talent is just incredibly good at dodging that pressure play. Leoric and Johanna would have been a very cool combo for Navi as well, of course, and that's probably one of the reasons why TeamLiquid prioritized Leoric here first of all. They might even head into a second tank. There's that Lara that we've been talking a bit about already, as Navi is really a fan of the hero. And again, Li Ming ignored, so the last patch has really not helped her too much. I mean, of course, she needed to get nerfed a little bit, but so far the teams have more or less agreed that they don't want to play with Li Ming here. We've seen that twice yesterday, but not so today, at least not so far. For Navi, the last pick, they could go into a second frontliner here, and I suppose they actually should. With Johanna, I mean, you can still... Actually, like wondering a bit of what I would go for here. An Arthur's as the setup for Johanna would work. I was thinking about like that ETC, and I wasn't really like too much of a fan. Navi, they like the Arthurs, and I feel in this setup Arthurs is actually helping them. Lunara has a slow, Arthurs has a slow as well. Johanna has of course her Condemn. Jaina has slow too, so all of these talents together, that really works to control those team fights and especially the pace of them. TeamLiquid, I wouldn't be surprised to see a second frontliner considering the setup here. Leoric, Thrall alone going up against Johanna and Arthurs are going to have a bit of a tough time. Kel'Thas and Thrall as the damage dealers, I mean, that's the question, is that really enough damage output? Of course, that Storm is there as well. We've even seen a few teams starting to go back into Archon when they feel they don't need the Force Wall to supply a bit more damage, but here is that second frontliner as predicted. I like that, and there's that Thrall ETC combo that we've been talking about earlier. So the Leoric, mostly a pick against Navi, taking the hero away, but also, of course, helping TeamLiquid with more wave clear. He can also try and isolate Jaina with it Entomb if he goes for it, which is in this setup actually very likely that we're going to see an Entomb. Entomb is going to be great against Lunara, it's going to be great against Jaina, and also against Arthurs. Johanna usually can make up for it with the Iron Skin and can survive for quite some time, but he could burst her down too. ETC plus Thrall for that Sundering into Moshpit combo is very powerful here, and ETC of course has a bit of damage output, so does also like have Leoric. Kel'Thas and Thrall are going to help out here too, and test it out with those Storms. So a lot of AoE damage for TeamLiquid right now, both of the teams with a very solid lineup. I'm a little bit scared for TeamLiquid when it comes to the slow that we have for Navi. If Navi gets momentum on the map, I feel it's going to be very difficult for TeamLiquid to come back into this, since Navi is going to be able to keep the heroes of TeamLiquid into those team fights for a long time. Either way, we're going to jump into the game. Navi is currently in the lead in the best of 3 here, so let's find out together which team is going to claim victory on map number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Tomb of the Spider Queen is map number 2 in the winner bracket final here at the end of the storm. And ladies and gentlemen, TeamLiquid is currently down 1 game in the best of 3 series. To the left side of the map, we currently have Lowell, this time on Green Jesus. He's playing Thrall here, or you can also call him Green Moses, dividing the opponent's army with his Sundering. Chris on Kel'Thas, Gedamherd on Tacita. We have Shad on Leoric, Yuvo on ETC, and to the right side of the map for Navi, Alex the Pro G on Arthurs, Danatan on Lunara, we have Crosby on Jaina, Eternal playing Johanna, and Gran Paquete on one of his favorite heroes. He's playing Charism again, so he's playing the monk here, the Spanish warrior, and let's see how he's going to deal with that. Currently, we're seeing, okay, Arthurs again once more, which is always cool. Croc, by the way, taken on level 1 for ETC, so he's already trying to help with the extra sustain. There's actually quite a bit of heroes that have sustain here. I mean, if you talk about Leoric, for example, Reanimation alone already is a great talent for him. He can go on level 7 if you feel the need to go for Austin's Renewal, give himself some more self-sustain, even though it's more likely that we're going to see one of the Skeleton Swing talents taken here. We're having at the same time now with Proc potentially groupies then later on. So Tacita is getting some support from the rest of his team. And of course, if you look at Thrall, then we have also him with the Frostbolt Resilience. With the setup that is currently being run here, TeamLiquid is not really trying to go for fights in the early game. We're having Thrall against Arthurs at the bot lane, but this rotation between mid and top is currently ending up a little bit in favor of Navi so far. They have the damage output here for sure. The Cruel Spores are taken again. Very often that's the talent that we are seeing, and the first fight in the middle here. Space Lord Leoric is already wraith walking his way out of there, but of course the potential for damage, especially in the early game for Navi, is very strong here. They have with Arthur's block on level 1. There's a couple of auto attackers that we're seeing for TeamLiquid, so it makes sense for him to go for the sustain talent, but keep in mind that he gives up Regeneration Master, and it's one of the best maps for Regeneration Master. But that's mostly true if you are part of the rotation between the middle and the top to get the additional globes, and in this case Arthur's is not part of that rotation, so it makes sense for them to have him with the switch on the talent. Shad is already feeling that Lunara is a huge damage dealer here. And Lunara, after the changes that Blizzard has implemented, especially of course when it comes to the animation of her attacks, is now a part of most compositions. Virtus Pro has been playing with her during the tournament. We've seen other teams use her as well. My Insanity, if I'm not wrong, has also played her a couple of times. And Danatan is already doing the best to really annoy the opponent with all of that damage over time that he can bring to the table here. The rotations that are currently happening, I mean, overall, we are seeing still like a bit of, especially the attempt to go for additional stacks on Leoric, which is going to be very important here to give him the sustain in the later stages of the match. Lowell and Alex are very low down here, and oh, Alex actually isolated. Chris is down. and Alex still alive. Alex is alive and just simply moves away, heals himself with a death coil. Now the lockdown against Slow, and bam, Frostmourne to the face. That's worse than a hammer to the face, I can tell you that much. And there's the double kill. Look at that leading experience now. 2 kills and the rotation domination between mid and top. Great play here by, once again, Navi. We're having them with Destruction taken on Arthas as the level 4 talent. Snowstorm on this very narrow map taken for Jaina. And Lunara still doing her thing with the Nimble Wisp now on level 4. But that's definitely not the way how TeamLiquid wanted to start into this particular map. Now once again, map number 1 is of course always being determined by a draft, by vetoes, and map number 2 and 3 are determined by the losers. So this is the pick of TeamLiquid that we're currently seeing here. And they are starting to fall slightly behind. They have a very solid front lineup of course that will help them later on as well. And we still expect Entomb to be taken as a level 10 ability on Leoric. So that will help to lock targets down, especially Jaina and Lunara. But still, this is very dangerous. Nice move by Crosby, just barely surviving against this. And here comes Shat once again, but Danatan always with a poke. Bambi doing her thing. Mental Acuity even taken now for Tassadar. Vision, vision, and vision. That's what they are trying to go for here now. But Navi's moving in again with a body block against Juve. He's very low and down goes ETC. There is, yeah, the cow is down. So that's great for them, and also we have more and more gems taken away from TeamLiquid. There was no way for them to recover those. 45 are already turned in for Navi, and Navi is just showcasing once again why they are one of the best teams, if not the best in Europe right now. Great performance here in this winner bracket. And of course the team that wins is moving to the grand final immediately, whereas the loser will have to fight his way through the loser's bracket. He still has another shot to win the end of the storm here. $10,000 are on the line in total. And this tournament, the conclusion is going to be today. Wild Vigor has been taken as the level 7 talent now, and we're seeing the Rune Tap plus Frostbitten. We're seeing Conviction for the extra movement speed on Johanna's Condemn, and also of course the Echo of Heaven for Karazhan. Mid lane again, that's where we have the pressure play with the Web Weavers. The first wave is starting to move in here. TeamLiquid, they don't even have level 7 yet, and that's a huge problem for them. They're moving away. The lockdown against ETC pushes them again away with a quick face melt. That helped for now. But still, things are currently looking very grim for the team in blue. They have at least their Fission Bomb now on level 7. We're also seeing the Just Keeper, or the Guitar Hero actually taken. Even more heals taken right now. More heals now for ETC, and there is that Skeleton Swing for, sorry, the Ghastly Reach, of course, first of all, for Leoric. Shat low and gets away. The Wraith Walk saving him. He went for the Ghastly Reach. No Paralyzing Rage currently for Leoric. We're seeing also, of course, now still an entire level lead for Navi, and Navi is playing a very cool game here. They have still 32 gems. TeamLiquid, by the way, has an entire turn in, so if they are able to move in before Navi gets the level 10 ability, they might be able to go for a Web Weaver wave. Gad is just like trying to poke from a distance to interrupt those channels. Alex at the bot lane, soaking, of course, experience, trying to bring them closer to level 10. Again, the attempt to turn in here. Shat with 22. TeamLiquid, they know that this is a chance for them now to finally turn in, but they also need to defend the lanes. They're with 4 heroes at the top. Arthas is still at the bottom. It's going to be a 4 versus 4 if they're trying to go for it. We have Gerd and Juve in position here, starting to move in, but Arthas is making his way into the middle of the map right now, trying to make sure that there's no chance for TeamLiquid to turn in before level 10 is reached. If Navi is making this happen, then they will get a second Web Weaver wave before TeamLiquid get there first. And that would of course be a great start into the game for them. They are already ahead with 3 kills against 0, an entire level advantage, but a second Web Weaver wave would bring them close to level 13. And that would, of course, be amazing. I mean, of course, not immediately. It's not like they are turning in the Web Weavers and immediately they gain 3 levels. That's not going to happen. But they will definitely hit a much earlier level 13 than TeamLiquid if they can get a few more structures destroyed with Web Weaver wave number 2. That's currently what they're waiting for. They're trying to go for a bit of a snowball. Shat waiting. Alex is moving back, though. He sees what's happening. Locks down Leoric, and here's the level 10 now. Level 10 abilities. He's still starting to turn in, but Eternal is delaying it, and now Navi will just turn in up at the top. The Thornwood Vines already taken. We're seeing the Army of the Dead, and also having now the Blessed Shield, Water Elemental, and the Divine Palm taken. And here come those Web Weavers. And TeamLiquid, they are in trouble. And in quite a lot of that. Eternal is starting to move in again. They go for Leoric. They try to just like get some free damage in. And even before the Web Weavers are there, they take down that well, which is of course a crucial part of any defense, since you can always just like get some mana and hit points back while you're trying to defend your structures. But here come the Web Weavers at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, and starting to go straight for the force. And TeamLiquid, they still lack that level 10 ability. They still don't have it, and the first fort is down, and that is of course going to trigger the rotation of Navi. They move straight to the next structure, up to the top. Web Weaver starting to move in. Yubo on the way back. They can't die here. TeamLiquid, they have so many gems, they can't die, but they have now once again, they have their abilities. There's the Entomb that we've already been waiting for. Of course, it was a bit of a no-brainer considering the setup that TeamLiquid is using here. And Navi is playing it very cautiously. Very cautious play. They don't even go for the fort, even though it's very low. They decide that they don't want to get flanked. They did not quite know where Thrall was. Thrall actually was at the bottom hiding a little bit so that he was not visible on the map. It was a smart move actually. It was one of the things that forced Navi back because they don't want to run into a sundering mosh pit or anything along those lines. But now that he's visible again at the bottom of the map, Navi immediately moves in. They realize Thrall is not with the team, so they can move in at the top. They can take the fort down, and now they're already on level 11 and a half, and they will still get experience like bursting these waves away now. Same time now, we have once again Navi trying to deny turn-ins to TeamLiquid, who are still on the same talent, at least for a little bit longer. That would be, of course, a great opportunity for them. Lowell trying to turn in here. But so far, he's the only one. There's the blue Web Weavers. So they get their turn-in. Damage overall, by the way, to give you a bit of an idea, Lunara is currently on 20,000 hero damage, which makes her the top damage dealer in the entire game. When it comes to siege damage and push, 62,000 for Jaina and 64,000 for Khaldor. So it's once again the battle of the mages that we're seeing here. Pressure play at the bottom even. Like, if your opponent gets the Web Weavers and you're able to just like push these waves out a little bit, the Web Weavers are going to spawn in a much more passive position, which gives you extra time. Eternal down here is very much alone. Here comes that Entomb. They're trying to go for a kill, but Johanna, of course, very tanky, has used the Iron Skin already. They're still trying to go for it. Here comes ETC as well, going for Charism. Alex popping the Army of the Dead. They're trying to go straight for it. Over here, the rest of the team is starting to move in now too. A 5 versus 5. Once again, Wraithwalk on the Oryx, saving him. Web Weavers turning around. The mid Web Weavers have already been defended against. Bot Web Weaver rather low. Here comes the move against Jaina. Nice kill for TeamLiquid. Was the first one in this game for them, and they are of course trying to make it two, but they can't lock down neither Lunara nor any of the other heroes. Web Weavers at the bottom lane have also been defended against, and the only one that are still around are the ones up at the top. The Spiders are still pushing over there. And TeamLiquid is currently trying to push bottom and middle and allow the Web Weavers to do their thing, and so far it's looking pretty solid at that top lane. TeamLiquid is starting to come back in experience. Navi successfully defended the bot lane. In the middle, no structures were really taken down, but both of the teams are now very close to 13. So the ability of TeamLiquid to turn in while Navi was attempting to interrupt it helped them to get back in experience, and they are now in a very, very solid position here with Danatan and Crosby up at the top lane, just barely saving that fort. Level 13 still hits faster for Navi. They have now the unfair advantage after they went into the Wild Vigor and the Thornwood Vines on Lunara. We're also seeing a Relentless taken on two heroes, Charism and Arthas, and we have the Burning Rage for Johanna. So Johanna going for even more siege damage. There's no Zagara in this game, so it's no adjustment that tries to take down creep tumors. It's instead just the attempt to get more siege damage in, to take down waves, to make sure that you can defend against the Web Weavers. Again, it's Alex who's in trouble down at the bottom of the map. And of course, that Entomb was attempting to lock him down, but they only get those tanks. They just can't get one of those squishies in the backline. Jaina Lunara with decent positioning during the fights. Once again, their kill against ETC with a good Howling Blast on Arthas. Lowell is also about to fall here. He gets chased by Charism with a quick dash, and that's the end of Thrall for now. Even with the spell shield, he was not able to mitigate all of that damage. Chain bombs are ready for Khaldor. That's definitely going to help them. And with this strong level 13 talent, we're now also seeing the groupies that will just proc together with the proc rock here. We're having also the Guitar Hero taken. So proc rock, Guitar Hero, and groupies will definitely help ETC with the survivability. But now we have again 5 kills against 1. And for TeamLiquid, it's really, I mean, it's very understandable that they're trying to go for the kills against isolated heroes on the map. They went for Johanna once with the Entomb and once also for Arthas. The problem is always that Navi has very quick rotations to help these heroes out. And since they are very tanky, there was just like no real chance for them to take them on. So what TeamLiquid has to try and do is get a lockdown on Lunara, get a lockdown on Jaina, burst those down first. But right now the Web Weavers are descending again, and this is the red Web Weavers that we are talking about right now. So once again, Navi has an opportunity to just increase that lead in experience that they currently have. Alex, Danatan, everybody else is like moving back onto the lanes, bursting the waves away, trying to just like smooth that path of the Web Weavers a little bit before they move onto a lane as 5. Danatan already, yeah, taking the wave out at the bot lane. Here comes the move up to the top. Wraith Walk activated and forcing Leoric back, and that opens the mid lane up once again. So they're starting to go in for the mid lane. They're trying to get maybe that wall here at the keep, while the Web Weaver at the top and at the bottom are still pushing, taking down structures. And look at that experience lead that we are currently seeing for Navi. They really start to establish a solid lead in experience. Crosby is being attacked from behind. Juve was going for the flank, did not get that chance though. Here comes immediately a Sundering being used. Going for that Sundering, but no kill for them just yet. Again, Leoric has to move away. So pretty tricky spot actually for TeamLiquid. They are up against the level 16 talent right now, which gives Stone Skin to Arthas. We're having also now the Northern Exposure taken for Lunara, for Jaina. Lunara went into the Starwood Spear here, so going for a big focus on the Crippling Spores. We're having at the same time the Circle of Life for Charism for the extra heals and Imposing Presence for Johanna. So it's really tricky for TeamLiquid right now. The boss is now being taken. That's of course a bit of a risk that Navi is running here, but they know that they have the talent advantage. Arthas is starting to make his way over, and it's a mix between like a bait and a serious attempt. You move in for the boss, you show your opponent what you're doing. Oh, Lowell! Oh, he's blasted away again, and that's the kill against Kalthas too. Both of them down, and so many gems are being lost here. And that's of course a disaster for TeamLiquid once again. They lose so much at this point. Actually, they are trying to get a few of those again, but they can't. And now the boss attack is going to happen again. So what Navi was doing before is they moved to the boss and they actually showed it. They just basically baited TeamLiquid and said like, alright guys, we are going for boss now. We are aware that you know, and you're welcome to try and stop us, then we just turn around and take the fight against you because we have the talent advantage over you. Or you just let us be, and then we will have a boss pushing the bot lane, the top lane. So for now, for TeamLiquid, it was one of those situations where you kind of have to move to the top. They try to go for a disengage then afterwards, but as we already said during the draft, there's a lot of talents that we have for Navi that can just slow them down. I mean, we're not even only talking about Lunara here, but just like think about the Frozen Tempest on Arthas, having his Frost Aura here, having a hero like Jaina in your midst, and also then of course Johanna with that Condemn, with the Blessed Shield. All of these heroes together is very difficult to disengage from them, and that's why we saw 2 of them that die in the end. And we are back in a 5 versus 5 situation with Tacit at the bot lane, Gats trying to get experience, Juvis trying to do the same thing. They have level 60 now, so they can finally move back. It's very late though, but they had to do it. Nice attempt to go for that Sundering, but that Entomb did not hit. And that was a big mistake here on Leoric in not hitting Crosby. It was a perfect setup more or less from Thrall. Not sure if it was coordinated or if it was just like coincidence, but he could have just used that Entomb to lock down Jaina, get the kill there. Here comes the kill after all, thanks to the mosh pit. This was a good one, but that boss is already on core. Jaina down, Kalthas dead as well. Shat is trying to deal with the boss. Here comes the Force Wall, trying to a little bit to zone as well. But yeah, so for now, it's again the defense against the boss, and it's going to be successful. But Keep is down. Keep is eliminated, and I mean, the pressure is on. The pressure on TeamLiquid is so strong, you could actually just create diamonds with it. Danatan, Eternal, Alex, and Grand Paquette, they turn in again, and they are very close to getting another turn in. They lack 15 gems, and they can get those, or should be able to get those quite easily. In terms of damage, Lunara by now really starting to top the charts in hero damage. She's at 48,000 already, and her siege damage is also pretty crazy. TeamLiquid, with a turn in, pretty nice actually to sneak that in at this time. This is going to help them quite a bit to relieve the pressure. Compare the top damage on the side of TeamLiquid with the top damage on the side of Lunara. 34,000 on Kalthas against 48,000 on Lunara. So really pretty incredible. And of course it helps that Danatan throughout the entire time could rely on that heavy front line. Having double warrior with Johanna and Arthas allows the back line with Jaina and Lunara to just always position themselves in fights so that they can constantly get the damage out and are very, very safe. Jaina is actually the only hero that died twice, and that's mostly because we had TeamLiquid really trying to focus her down and go for the kill here. So that really, really worked. For now, we have the Web Weavers coming in, and TeamLiquid, they know that they have to capitalize on this one. They need experience, and they need it fast. There comes the kill maybe against... Yes, the kill against Khaldor. Well played. Good job once again by Navi. Navi is just an incredible team. I mean, they get the kill here once more. Shat is also running away, but Leoric, I'm sorry to say, you are not going to make it, dude. This is the triple kill. 11 kills against 2, and Navi, they are not, maybe not on the top of the world yet, but they are definitely on the top of Europe. These guys are playing insane matches right now, and if things continue like this, then we are definitely going to see them at least in the grand final here. They go for the defense against the Web Weavers now. TeamLiquid, they bought themselves a bit of time with the Web Weavers, of course, and even though they lost a few heroes here, Navi said, okay, we don't have a chance to go for core yet. If we move in, we are going to lose too much, and if we don't finish the core, then we're going to be in a pretty awkward spot. But they will have the level 20 ability, and that's when it hits. So now with level 20, we're going to see, again, the Hardened Shield taken for Arthurs. We're seeing the Peaceful Repose taken for Charism. An amazing talent, by the way. I mean, if you're a support player, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can just, like, spam that thing out whenever you want to, and you basically... The least thing that you do is you give any hero that use it on a 3-second window in which you can do whatever you want. Shat, again, being killed. Leorki is down. We're seeing also now the Abolish Magic taken here. And it's just like an amazing situation for Navi. They want to go for the kill. They have the Web Weaver wave now coming in as well. And they go for the top. It's a 5 versus 4 here already. They're trying to end this game at this point, of course. And they have not only the talent lead, but they have Web Weavers coming in, pushing the lanes back. The top lane is going to be the most important one for them at this point. Everything else, TeamLiquid has done a pretty decent job to push them back and buy themselves some time. But up here, with another kill, they could seal the deal. And they're trying to go for it. Alex with the Army of the Dead. There it is. They go for Juve. ETC goes for the mosh pit, is about to fall. Here comes the Frostball. Oh my god. Thrall is down, and yes, the Ice Block saving Jaina for a bit longer. Danatan gets palmed, and even Leoric is gonna fall again. He was trying to go for Bambi. Shat actually still alive. Alex has to retreat. And so far, TeamLiquid actually making that defense still work. They lost Shat. Chris is still attempting to help them though. And Danatan is very, very low. They're just poking from a distance. But Gad is also extremely low. And Chris with those chain bombs is definitely a threat. You can really tell that it's difficult for Navi to make that happen. But the Peaceful Repose is still there. And they go for core, 80% already. But maybe Alex is going to fall now to Chris. Here come the chain bombs again. Chris needs to be careful. He can't go in too deep. Chris is about to fall. Gets the shield. And once again, TeamLiquid holds. But the bot lane heavily pressured now as well. We're seeing them starting to move in here once again. And in this point, up at the top, Leoric is still trying to pressure Eternal back a little bit. So down to the bottom of the map, Chris is already in a spot where he's making sure that this keep is not gonna... Nah, it's gonna fall. It's a little bit too much. But a very solid attempt here still to save the core at least. 75%, so they were able to make that happen. 15 kills, by the way, against 2. Giving you a bit of an idea about the damage output here. 75,000 on Lunara by now. But also Khaldor starting to really get a bit closer. Those chain bombs that we've seen in the last fight were a little bit better. LOL needed to go for the Sundering here. They're trying to go for the disengage, but Navi is already in full pursuit. Level 20 isn't there. Alex is zoned. Shat is trying to help his team, and locking Alex down will make sure that there's no Howling Blast, no Frozen Tempest. But Shat is low. The Wolf comes in, and Shat has to retreat. TeamLiquid desperately, I mean, they're fighting right now. They're really trying to go for that 20 so that they have a fighting chance, and here comes that talent. Double, triple Bolt of the Storm now for them. Rewind on Tacita even. Shields, shields, and more shields, plus the Blizzard. They go for Danatan, but again Lunara hops away, and now ETC is in trouble. Needs to use his Bolt of the Storm to get out of this one. Spectral Leech for Leoric as the talent here. That, of course, helps quite a bit against such a strong front line here. So, yeah, right now, we are seeing TeamLiquid like really fighting for it. And they have a turn-in, by the way. TeamLiquid, they have the potential for an additional turn-in that they could use here if they get their gems turned in. And they're trying to zone for especially Gerd, but the shield glare is interrupting it again. Here comes that force wall already. Gerd is, yeah, he tries to move around. He actually tries to move down to the bot lane right now. And could potentially turn in there. Eternal is making his way over. Can he go for the shield glare? Is he in range? Grand Paquette, is he? Yeah, he dashes in, dashes out. Make sure that he interrupts Gerd again, and Gerd still desperately trying to get those 45 gems handed in. He definitely doesn't want them now. Shat moving away. Gerd still there. He completes the turn-in. He completes the turn, but they still need 15. they need Chris to turn in. They need Juve to turn in, or lower. Like 2 of those 3, that would be exactly what they need right now. And Chris is already trying to move in at the top, at the bottom. Up at the top, can really tell that Navi is currently not really in a spot where they can get their own web weaver wave. So they want to make sure that TeamLiquid doesn't get a chance here. We're 22 minutes into this game already, and TeamLiquid, they have been the punching ball of Navi for the entire duration of the game, but they tried to come back into it. They lost 2 keeps already, but they're still fighting. Eternal, the one that got locked down here. Again, the stuns up here at the top. Phoenix not used, but Sundering is of course on cooldown now. Here comes that kill again against Leoric. He's going to be back very, very soon. I mean, Leoric currently, he has quite a few stacks on his reanimation, but still, he's going to be down for a couple of seconds here. And the top lane is being pushed hard, so Chris has to move back. Chain bombs, trying to take those down. More and more gems for them. They have 42 at this point, and they need to somehow sneak them in. And it's definitely not going to be easy for them. Chris is starting to move around again. Bot lane, Danatan with the attempt to go for even more pressure. We're having over here Alex waiting. They're actually securing the 2 tournament points with like 1 hero each, making sure that TeamLiquid cannot just simply like sneak someone in and like go for a ninja stealth move. So that's not going to happen. But Juve is trying to turn in, and there it is. Nice zoning from Shed and Gad. And now we have the web weavers for TeamLiquid. It's really one of those now or never situations. They know that if they can't really make any kind of like play happen with this web weaver wave, then they are going to be in a world of trouble. For now, the web weavers are going to deep push the lanes. They have to focus on the mid lane actually if they want to take a few of the structures down. The problem is of course that both of the teams are already on level 20, so it really matters more which kind of like keep you kill. Forts are not all that important just yet, but there's a fight already and 2 heroes are still missing, and Juve falls. Navi with the perfect timing here. They're jumping on them. ETC is down. The cow is dead. So is Leoric. Navi is going for it. They can now simply go for the kill. They have 2 heroes down. It's level 20 talents for both of the teams, but a 5 versus 3 situation is something that TeamLiquid just simply cannot handle right now. They're starting to move in. Chris, of course, is going to attempt to dish out the damage with those chain bombs, but good luck doing that. They won't be able to stop them here. Here comes the Sundering, though. They go for Bambi, and the Peaceful Repose is saving Lunara. Great job here once again by Karazhan. Grand Paquette with the moves, saving his team here. And yep, there we go. 100,000 damage on Lunara, 265,000 siege damage on Kalthas though. But Jaina is the only one that falls here. 18 kills against 3, and Navi, they take the winner bracket final with a 2-0 victory against TeamLiquid and advance to the grand final of the End of the Storm Europe.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.